No! I've got cardboard from my attic, and I've got toilet paper, so you know we're getting fancy up in here. Hey guys, what's up, and welcome to my channel. And before I say anything, I need to take a moment and give this beautiful 1920s Hollywood Regency chandelier its moment to shine. Look at how pretty that thing is. I am obsessed. Not only am I obsessed with this light, but I'm just like currently very obsessed with how my studio looks now that I've like revamped it. But this week is not about my studio and the way it looks, even though I absolutely love it. This week is about making some art. Oh my gosh, it has been such a long time since I have sat at my desk just like this and made some art. Very, very long time. And before you click off of this video because you're like, Miley, I am not an artist, I can't make art. No. This week is not about making hard art and time-consuming art. This week is about making some fun, easy home art. This is a series I like to do on my channel from time to time where I collect a whole bunch of easy home art projects and I test them out. And all of the projects I have picked out, no matter what your artistic ability is, you can definitely do these projects and make this fun, really cool art for your home. So with all of that being said, let's jump into it and let's make some art. Okay, I was about to get started and then I was like, wait, why do I have a headache? And then I was like, oh, I haven't had enough caffeine today. That makes a lot more sense. And if you can see my latte, it's a matcha espresso latte. That's why it's green. Looks unappetizing. Tastes delicious. Let's get myself set up. Yes, sorry, run away, Moses. Run away, buddy. So as I get set up, let's talk through a few things. When I do these videos and when I pick out these art projects, I like to pick a strategic order. The order that I have chosen is quickest to least quick, the longest. Yes. Now 2 and 3, I'm kind of on the fence as to like which one is going to take the longest out of those two because they're very, very close. I think they're gonna be very similar in length. But number 1 for sure is the quickest and number 4 is for sure the longest. So let me grab everything I have for project 1. That was a lot louder than I thought it was going to be. So here is what I have. We have some ink. I'm also gonna try paint because I wanna do, for all of these pieces of art I'm gonna make in this video, I'm gonna do a more neutral version and a more colorful version because I know that there are some people that have more colorful homes and then there are people that have more neutral homes and then there's kind of people like me where we're somewhere in the middle. I've got like a little bowl that I'm gonna put my ink in. I have some picture frames that I've taken the glass out of. I covered this one in painter's tape because I don't want paint to get on it. And then I got some marbles because we're making marble art. And the only marbles I could find is the solar system. This is the weirdest solar system I have ever seen because this is supposed to be Earth and that looks nothing like Earth. But whatever, we got some marbles. And then I have some watercolor paper that I'm gonna try this method out on, get the hang of it, and then I'm gonna move to these little canvases that I got. I'm gonna use one of these canvases as my backing, and I'm gonna get started. So let me grab a piece of paper. Now, the question is, what frame do I wanna use first? You know what, let's start off with a smaller frame. And now I gotta open my marbles. I'm going to dump some ink in there. This might be a little messy, but that's okay. I'm going to very nicely pop my marbles in there and swirl them around. Ooh, okay, now the question is how do I get them out? Hold on, 2 seconds, I'll be right back. I got a plastic glove so that my hands don't get covered in ink. So I am going to take this, hold this in place. Now I'm grabbing the marble and I'm gonna pop it right there, pop it right there. I'm just gonna, oh no, no. No, I lost my marble. And now I'm gonna pick up my marble, put it back in the ink, and I've made my first art. That's it. If you've ever done like maze marble games, it's kind of like that. But instead of working your marbles through a maze, you're making art. Yay! Let's try that again. Also, I didn't mention this, but with all of these art projects, you might be wondering like where might be a good place in your house you could put these. A lot of these art projects, because they are on the more simple side, they could make for really good like large art. If you wanted to make a really large version because you have like a wall that you just want like one big piece of art. Also, this type of art is really good as filler pieces within a gallery wall so that you're kind of breaking up the wall and it's not just like the same type of art over and over and over again. So I am trying this with a larger frame, more plane space, see what happens. I'm gonna try to be more strategic about this. That was not strategic. I was, no. We're okay. Nothing got on the rug. Oh my gosh, these marbles have a mind of their own. That one didn't go according to plan. You do have to be very careful with making sure your marbles don't pop outside your frame. But you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna try it on the canvases. I'm gonna try to go a little slower. This is my first one on my canvas. I'm gonna go ahead and make probably one more with the ink, and then I'm gonna try out some paint and see how the paint works. I like this one. This one is a close second for my favorite, but this one for sure is my absolute favorite. I love the way this looks, and it was so incredibly easy. Now that I have tested this out and actually done this art, I highly recommend going with ink. If you want to do a more colorful version, they do have more colorful ink. So just get that. The ink sticks to the marbles so much nicer, and it looks so much cooler. So much cooler. Yeah. I absolutely love this. It was super fun and super easy. So I'm gonna get cleaned up and let's move on to the second art project. Okay, hold on, 2 seconds. Okay, well, you know, for this next one, I've got cardboard from my attic and I've got toilet paper. So you know we're getting fancy up in here. So for this second piece of art, I'm gonna be working with cardboard, like I said, to make some like cool cardboard textured art. That might sound really lame, but I swear it does look really cool and very nice. So what I have to do this project, at least, you know, the stuff I need right now is cardboard, like I said, toilet paper, that'll come in a little bit. And for one of the pieces I'm making, I'm going to do rectangles cut out of cardboard. So I have a ruler. And then for the second piece, I'm doing circles. So I have a cup to trace a bunch of circles. I've got scissors to cut out the cardboard, a pencil, hot glue, matte Mod Podge, and some paint brushes. So the first thing that I need to do is get my cardboard cut out. So I'm gonna spend some time doing that, and then we can go from there. I have my cardboard cut out. It actually didn't take me as long as I thought it was going to. And for my circular one, to add a little bit of interest, I don't know, thought it might, I picked a circle from each row and I cut it in half and I kind of like flipped it. I don't know. thought it would be fun. But I'm gonna make the more neutral version with you guys because I think it'll be just a tiny bit quicker than the more colorful version, but the process will be exactly the same. Let me set this down, and what I need to do first is plan out the spacing for my rectangles and then get them glued down. So I think I'm gonna do an 1.5 inch border on the edges. So I'm just gonna mark that out. Okay, so I've just pushed the cardboard out to the sides, and I think this has like a nice even spacing. So I'm just gonna use some hot glue and glue the cardboard to the canvas. You don't have to use hot glue. Hot glue I just think is gonna be like the quickest and easiest of the glues. Okay, there we go. I've got my cardboard all glued down. Now comes the fun part with my toilet paper. So I'm gonna take some toilet paper and I am going to peel apart the layers. I'm basically just going to be like decoupaging the toilet paper over this. It's gonna kind of cover up these edges so that paint doesn't seep into the edges of the cardboard. So let me just try a little bit. And also, the toilet paper is going to add some nice texture. I've got my first little rectangle all covered up, and I hope you guys can see this in my camera up here, but it is actually adding some really cool texture, not only to the cardboard, but to the canvas itself. So I think this is gonna take me a hot second, but I'm just gonna repeat the process across all of the cardboard. Cutting the cardboard didn't take nearly as long as I thought it was going to, and then covering the cardboard took 10 times longer than I thought it was going to. But everything has been sitting for a while. I think most, if not all of this is dry, so I think I can get started with the final step, which is just painting over this. Since this is my neutral version, I'm doing just kind of like this light tan color, and then I'm also going to put in just a little tiny bit of brown, just for some like contrast in some of the areas. I think this looks nice. I think this looks cool. Okay, so far so good. I am literally just covering this whole canvas in the same color. So it is very easy, but the toilet paper and like the Mod Podge does add this really cool texture to the piece. And then obviously with the cardboard, it's kind of got this cool like raised up effect off of the canvas. Okay, now I got this whole thing covered, and from what I can tell, I'll definitely have to do like a second coat. I'm just gonna take the tiniest bit of brown, dip the same paintbrush in, and just see if I can maybe get some nice contrast in some areas. Yeah, the brown looks really nice like in between, because then it makes the cardboard pop off of the canvas. I don't want to say this is like fully done because I definitely think I want to do a second layer of paint, just a light layer, do some final touches, but I can't do that until this first layer dries. But overall, this is kind of what the final piece is going to look like, and I really like it. This looks super cool. I really like it, and I'm like very excited to see a more colorful version as well. The toilet paper definitely adds this really cool texture, kind of almost has like this clay effect to it. And then the cardboard adds this really cool like geometric raised element. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this piece just by, you know, doing some little touch-up areas once this first layer dries. And I'm also gonna move on to working on the colorful version. The colorful version, I'm gonna be doing the exact same steps, gluing the cardboard down, covering them with toilet paper, and then painting, but just in a more colorful way. So I'm gonna do all of that, and then we can move on to the third piece. guys, it is time to make some more art, and these final two like art forms or whatever I'm gonna be testing out are definitely the ones I'm like the most excited to try out. I loved the cardboard and the marbles, but these ones look really, really cool. And as you can probably tell, I already started to do some work. Prepping these canvases was definitely the most time-consuming part to get ready for these like next art pieces I am going to be making. I have some 12 by 12 canvases that I did 4 by 4 squares, and then I taped everything out and painted them. Now for this black and white one, my more neutral version I'm gonna be doing, this was very easy to prep because I could just use painter's tape, and then I did white paint over the painter's tape to seal the edges of the tape, and then I went over everything with black paint, and then I got these nice crisp clean lines. And then for my more colorful version, this one by far took me the longest to prep. It was a lot of work, but that's because I decided to use 4 colors instead of 2 colors. And I went with this kind of like retro theme to the colors. I don't know, anytime I think about color blocking, I instantly picture more like retro color palettes. So that's what I went with. It took me a while to prep, but I'm pretty happy with how it looks. So I'm gonna set this one aside, and I'm gonna do that one second, and I'm gonna do this black and white one with you guys. So I have 2 bowls here. What I'm gonna do is take a little bit of joint compound and a little bit of paint, mix them up together because I just want the joint compound to thicken up my paint just a little bit. My joint compound is pink, but it's gonna dry white, so I'm hoping it's okay. Pop it in the bowl, and then we'll start with black. That looks pretty good. Now I'm gonna do white. Now, here comes the really hard part, super hard part. I am going to start with white, and I'm using my palette knife, and I'm just going to smear white paint on the black square. Yup, that's it, literally it. Now the hard part is just making sure your white paint doesn't get on your white section. And 1 square done. And now I'm gonna do the next square. Okay, now that my white section on my black squares is done, I'm gonna take my black paint and do the same thing on the white sections. And this is very, very simple, but also it looks really, really cool. The video that I got this idea from, the person was doing like a really large canvas, and it looked really, really cool on like a really large scale. I decided to do a little bit of a smaller version for time's sake, but yeah, it looks really cool. So let's see how this black section is gonna look. Okay guys, my first color block, I don't know, scratchy paint piece of art is all done, and I really like the way it looks. And I will say, now that I have gone ahead and done my first one, the best way to get like the best results is to constantly be turning your canvas and looking at each square from all different directions and smearing the paint in all different directions, and you know, at vertical angles, really scraping at the canvas. And I also personally like it when the box is a little bit more filled up. So I'm going to set this aside, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the same process with my more colorful version. But with my more colorful version, I'm going to be rotating the paint and the paint colors. I've got this whole little chart right here, so I know which color to put on what box. So I am going to repeat the process of mixing paint with joint compound and then doing the same thing. Once all that's done, we can move on to my 4th and final art project. Okay guys, it is time for the fourth and final art project I'm gonna be trying, and like all of the other ones, I'm gonna be doing a neutral version and then a more colorful version. And like all of the other art, I'm not sure what to call this, so I'm just gonna call it palette knife textured art. And the reason I think this one was going to take me the longest is because you really want to have like a really nice precise lines with this art, because I think that's what makes it look the coolest and the nicest. Whereas if you're just kind of going in without measuring everything out, it can look sloppy. So what I'm going to be doing for my neutral version, I went ahead and painted my canvas like this really dark green, and then I'm actually just using joint compound and a palette knife. But I'm not covering the whole canvas, so I'm gonna first mark out where I want my border to be of this joint compound, and then we can get started. I think a 2-inch border, at least on the sides, is good. And I'm using a white charcoal pencil because it will just wipe off. I think that looks pretty good. So there's a few different ways I've seen this art be made, and so I'm gonna try one of them. So I saw somebody use a piping bag like you would for a cake. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this. I don't know how it's gonna go, but we'll see. I have never in my life decorated a cake, so I have no idea what I'm doing with this thing. It's fun. We're having fun. This is art. It's not serious. Okay, I think that is definitely enough for right now. Okay, now I'm just gonna cut a little bit off the bottom. Okay, joint compound is ready to go. Let's just go ahead and try this. Don't be nervous, you've got this. A little bit right here, and then first one done. I don't know why I'm so nervous, but I am. Okay, this is easy. I was definitely overthinking the first one, and I think I could actually just do like, you know, across the whole board, or the first row, I should say. And smear. Smear, smear. Okay, my first row is done. It's not the most even. We definitely have tighter on one side and then more spread out, but I think that we can fix that. The versions that I've seen that I like the most is a brick lane pattern, so I'm gonna go in between these two and smear. Okay, my first few rows, not looking the cleanest, but that is okay. This is also my first time ever doing this. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of the rows, and then I'll be back. Okay guys, so my more neutral version isn't my best work, I will say that. But now that I've done it, I definitely get the hang of what you're supposed to do and how it works and all of that stuff. Something I would definitely recommend if you try this is just take a piece of paper and like just test out how to do it and the spacing and everything, so that once you get started on your canvas, it's nice and clean and you know what you're doing. Definitely wish I would have done that. The other thing I wish I would have done is used painter's tape along the edges so that I have a nice crisp border, but that's okay. I'm gonna do that for my next one. And speaking of my next one, so for my more colorful version of this art, I'm going to mix up a whole bunch of colors in the like pink and red and white range, and do the same thing, but just kind of toss colors here and there, and I think that's gonna look really cool. So I'm gonna do all of that, and this will complete my fourth and final easy home art. And that is it, guys. I had so much fun making all of this art and finally getting around to trying some of these projects that I've had saved on my phone for over a year now. This was so much fun. And all of these pieces look really cool and really unique in their own way. And I have a feeling some of them actually might replace some of the art in my gallery wall by my front door, especially this marble art. The second I popped both of these pieces in their frames with a little mat around them, it looks so nice. I know it's very simple and, you know, really quick to make, but I just think it looks really cool. And I really want to try at some point a more colorful version with ink. Definitely want to try that. As for my second project with the cardboard, the only thing I wish I would have done a little bit better is making sure that the edges of the cardboard were fully covered up. So if you try out that project, I highly recommend going through with like a second or even third layer of toilet paper around edges that need to be covered up more, and like double checking all of your edges are actually covered, because I didn't do that, and so some of my edges are poking through and it doesn't look the nicest. But beyond that, I love those pieces, and I'm actually having a very hard time picking out which one was my favorite, the more neutral version or the more colorful version. I like them both for very different reasons. As for my lovely color blocking, I love this piece. I wish I had time to make it a little bit bigger. But what I think I'm gonna do is just make a second one and do like a set. I could even do 3. That would look really cool. This was definitely time consuming to prep the canvas, but beyond that, very easy. And for the final pieces, we're not gonna talk about the neutral version, because I think that was definitely like the worst piece of art I've ever made. Does not look good. But that's okay, because the colorful version, yeah, the colorful version definitely made up for it. Yeah, this thing right here. I absolutely love this piece of art. It's actually my favorite piece I made this week, which if you've been a subscriber for a while, the fact that I'm saying this red and pink and white colorful piece of art is my favorite, that might be a little bit shocking, because I'm like the queen of black. And the only reason I went with this color palette is because I'm hosting a party this weekend, and I thought that this would make for some fun decor for that party. After this weekend, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. The only thing that I wish I had time to do, but I will probably do this at some point, is go in with some paint to touch up a few areas, and then I wanna go over everything with a glossy top coat, because I think with a glossy top coat, it's going to look so good. But beyond that, I love it, and I love all of the pieces of art that I made, and I had so much fun trying these out. So I'd love to know which art project was your favorite. If you try out any of these projects, I would love to see your version. You can send me a photo on Instagram, and I hope you liked this video and all of these projects. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.